till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Good evening, or is it? After last night's abject, inept, pathetic display against Chelsea side that were hungrier, more organised, and just simply wanted it more. Today we dissect that defeat and ask where we go from here. After Chelsea came away from their 3-point lane with a 1-0 victory. And let's be honest, a victory that could have been by 4, 5 or more. With me tonight, Brad, back from Australia. Good evening, Brad. How are you?
Hi, Ian. Not too bad. Just about over jet lag.
Good man. Good man. We'll try to keep you awake tonight, better than the football did. And, of course, my partner in crime, Adrian. Good evening, Adrian.
Yeah, good evening. I happen to be a long-suffering season ticket holder, so I was actually at the game. It's always worse for us at the game, and I think it's worse for the very low away support when they go away at games. They come back from defeats because they've got to travel home with the misery. You know what I mean? So worse for them. But no, it was the worst performance I've seen at the stadium. I can't think of a worse one since it's been open. But yeah, and I'm glad we do these shows a day after, because we do need to sort of like readjust our thinking and start thinking, right, okay, we are where we are with the team, the squad we got. How are we going to progress? How are we going to get forward? Where are we going to see this growth, coming from this team, a squad, which is a talented squad at the end of the day. So anyway, before I rabbit on too much, back to you, Ian.
Yeah, we will go into it, but Adrian's raised a point and something I was going to raise later, but I'm happy to raise it now. I mean, we don't have to talk for hours tonight to get to the nub of this, Brad. That was as bad a performance as we saw under Ange, under Conte, under Mourinho. It had absolutely no redeeming features as far as I could see.
Yeah, I have a different, well, not a different take on the game, but I don't go for this, oh, we weren't hungry, oh, we didn't put the effort in, blah, 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 blah. I think they did. I think this team does put the effort in and do actually want to win games and that sort of thing. I just think we've lost the ability to play football. I watched that game yesterday. One, no one seems to want to take any responsibility to try something. The amount of times I saw going down the left, you had Spence and Xavi, and they both be in a position to put the ball into the box, but no, they passed to each other. And this happened so many times. No one wanted a responsibility. Sometimes players were in an area where they could have had a shot at goal, but no, let's pass it. And then the key thing came, we all remember it, right near the end of the game where we had a free kick.
I'm going to come on to that.
Yeah, and it somehow ended up back with the goalkeeper. No one wants to take responsibility.
I'm going to tell you how I reacted.
And I say, how many? I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper catch as many corners as the Chelsea goalkeeper did.
Can you stop doing my show? This is like you thinking I'm playing a gig here.
The bottom line is, I think the players, they put the effort. I mean, Paulinho maybe one of the players that had a decent game. I thought Danso didn't do a lot wrong. Obviously, Vicario made some absolutely brilliant saves. But I just thought yesterday, watching it, that we just didn't seem to have the ability to play football. You know?
Let's say hello to a couple of people in the chat, and then we'll start dissecting it. Pete, no, I need to press that twice. Good evening, Pete. Loving the channel. Glad makes it worthwhile doing. Graham's with us. Good evening, Graham. Welcome. You can have your say. And MKPO138. But maybe I do here for the therapy. Well, believe me, if you were bad before, Tom is here as well. So I'll add Zookeeper Tom to the stage as well. Good evening, Thomas. How are you?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. Yourselves?
As well as could be expected, I think.
Yes.
Let's talk about the team. I'll bring you in first, Brad. Let Tom adjust to the lights and the applause from the audience and what have you. There you got it. Vicario, Porro, Danso, Van der Ven, Spence, Polinia, Bentancur, Bergval. I put Simmons after 5 minutes. Kudus, Moani, and Sarr, not necessarily in the right order, but all the right notes are there. Brad, what was your thoughts on that team?
Well, I think that with the rotation of players, with all the games we're playing at the moment, I think we're all going to have a different take on it. We're all going to say, oh, why is that player being rotated? Why is that player not in the team? The fact that he said that Romero, Udogie were fit and will be in the lineup, I didn't think they'd start, to be fair. So that didn't surprise me. And there's one other one I forgot. There's a third player, wasn't there?
Odegaard,
that's right. So I didn't think that they would start. Again, he seems to want to play this double pivot. Paulina Bentancur, okay, on Tuesday night against Copenhagen, you probably won't need to play that, but maybe against Chelsea, maybe you do. Chelsea are a talented team after all. Bergval, Sarr, I think, deserved to start. He's been in and out of the team and keeps coming up with goals and that sort of thing. And Moani, after Moani was not starting on Wednesday night against Newcastle, I thought, well, that means he's going to start. So I wasn't really surprised with the lineup. But again, everyone's going to have a different take on what the team should be. And who knows what would have happened if Bergval had played the whole game or most of the game. Maybe it might have been slightly different. I don't know. And when he went off, it's obvious that Simmons or Xavi will be the player probably to come on and replace him. But the lineup didn't surprise me. I'm just actually waiting for when. I know we won't see Maddison this season, I wouldn't have thought, but when Kulusevski gets fit again, maybe in December or January, to see if that makes any difference to the creativity, because that's what we're sadly lacking at the moment. And Bergval was our creative player. He went off, and Simmons is obviously going to come on because he's the other creative player.
Come on. Tom, were you at the game, Tom? No, I didn't think you were. You're on microphone. You're on mute, or your microphone's not live.
It's now. Better. It is now.
Yeah, I heard the click.
Yeah.
Hear the click even in Glasgow. Tom, so what was your take? I know you'd only seen bits of it, but what was your take?
I said at the beginning of the season that we were never going to be able to sort of predict the team that Thomas Frank was going to pick, and that would be a refreshing thing from obviously Ange playing the same kind of 11 players each game. The one thing that surprised me is that we played a back five against PSG in the Super Cup final, and we haven't played it since. And considering that was probably one of our better performances this season, it's really surprised me that we haven't attempted to play a back three. Now, I know obviously Romero was injured for a little bit, but we're just seemingly having this huge problem with progressing the ball up the pitch. I mean, I literally saw a fact, and I had to check it to make sure it was genuinely true before coming on the show, that this whole Premier League season, Spurs have only played 4 successful through balls. The average for the Premier League is 18.5.
Jesus.
Yeah, good. Good spot.
if you wanted to know where our problem is, it's progressing the ball up the pitch. Now, is that because we're not having the runs from the strikers? Is that because Thomas Frank is telling them not to try and play through balls? Is that because our midfielders aren't capable of doing that? I don't really know what the answer is. It's probably a combination of all of those things. But I think, look, the Paulinho Bentancur, I think it's getting a lot of notice because it is a problem. And actually, if you look at like pass maps and stuff like that, they are literally like Harry Winks got labelled Mr. Sideways. These two are taking it to a whole new extreme. Like Harry Winks was never as bad as no, I'm not saying I'd rather Harry Winks in a team. I just want to get that like straight out there. But like the fact that he used to get labelled as Mr. Sideways, like this is taking it to a whole new level. So then that's the original point. I'm surprised we haven't seen us play a back five, which would allow Romero to step up to be that more progressive passer that we know he can do. But it also keeps your fullbacks wider as options, especially if we're wanting to play crosses. Keeps your fullbacks wider to play crosses in, and then means that Kudus, Richarlison, or whoever is closer to the goal.
It's absolutely something I want to come on to. If you read anything I put on Die Hards last night, I thought it was screaming at half time to make a tactical change. But Adrian, let me bring you in on this, because when people saw the lineup, there was like, what is the formation going to be? Is it a 4-4-2? Is he going to put Paulinho at the back and go with a 3 and go 3-5-2? Is it going to be a 5-3-2 or 4-2-3-1? I mean, that was the view, and I can bring you on this as well, because in the end it ended up just another 4-3-3 with Paulinho and Bentancur again, a formation that's been failing in home games all season.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, when I did my team when I first picked it, I like 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I'm not a fan of the back five, right? But that's just a personal taste, like others are, right? So, but I actually picked Udogie and Romero starting. And I actually, after reflection, when I changed it, and Stephen Alan Kravitz on the Friday show said to me, "Are you playing Bergvall instead of Moani?" And I said, yeah. I said, it's Chelsea. They're a very talented squad. They're underperforming, but you know how good they are, especially with Casado and Rodri in the middle. I mean, like, they destroyed us, right? So, yeah. So the 4-3-3, Ian, it's about personnel, isn't it? I mean, if you've got a system, I mean, all systems work if you've got the right personnel, and they also fail when you have an off day as well, don't they? But with this, we've seen a bit too much inconsistency and a bit too much failure. And I think Frank is a more methodical manager now than an innovative manager. And I just think he's pragmatic, which is fine. I think he'll do a good job once we get upgrades in the squad. But I think we're going to see this from now. I mean, until like we've got, I mean, Moani's creative influence he looks good. He looks the part. He looks the best striker we've got. And Simmons, at the moment, I think, look, I was always taught, even though I was a crap right back, that like, let the ball do the work. Don't try to do too much work on the ball. Let the ball do the work. And I think with Simmons and that, he hangs on to it when he's got a pass on and he can release it. You know, so I think we've got quite a few issues here. The midfield pivot has worked and it hasn't worked. Go on.
Let me come back on that, because you've raised a lot of points, and I appreciate coaching's different now to it was in the 1940s when you were playing. But
yeah,
I
30s.
But,
I knew ageism was going to come into it a bit early, but I mean,
our good friend Peter, great friend of the show, has gifted 5 new memberships.
Oh, brilliant, Peter! Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's tremendous of you. It's 8:15 and raining. Well, I have to tell you, it's 9:18 and raining in just outside Glasgow. So I think need to make some comment. The whole team was pants, but I can't think I've lost that comment. But anyway, but thanks, Peter. Let me go back, because you've all raised points that I do want to cover, and I don't want to just cover it random. Brad, before the Aston Villa game, and on the show on the Sunday afterwards, was scathing of the manager playing Polina and Bentancur again in a pivot in a home game when it hasn't worked. What were your thoughts on playing it yesterday?
Well, I think with the pivot, if I look back at the best Tottenham team I've seen live in my short life, was the 2017 Pochettino team, and you had Wanyama and Dembele as your pivot. The difference is that Dembele used to take the ball forward. You need one of your pivot players to carry the ball forward, and at the moment, the two we've got there don't seem to do that. I don't know what's happened to Bentancur. I'm sure he used to do that, but now he just seems to pass sideways, like a famous player. Not only Harry Winks, but another player before that, Vinny Samways used to be called Vinny Sideways. And I think that's the difference. And I would like to see at some stage Archie Gray come into that position, because I think Archie Gray would be able to do that Dembele thing of taking that ball forward. In fact, I saw the second half of the Monaco game in Australia about 5 a.m, whatever time it was, and there's a bit right near the end where Archie Gray carried that ball forward, and I think we almost got an attempted goal out of it. So I think that he might be able to do that. But at the moment, our two pivot players aren't doing that, and that's the problem. Going back to what Tom said about 4 through passes, again, that comes down to what my initial point was about them forgetting how to play football. No one wants to seem to take that responsibility to do that, to make the runs. They all seem to want to leave it for someone else to do. And it's just so frustrating watching it yesterday was so frustrating. I'm not a big fan of XG, to be honest. I probably don't even know how it works. But I did see a comment, it might have been you, Ian, actually, it might have been you, Adrian, of 0.05 means 1 goal in every 20 games.
Effective, unless my maths is out.
And that is disgraceful against Chelsea at home in a game like that. And we had 1 shot in the whole game. And I think their keeper did have 1 save to make. We might have saved 1, but it was an easy save to make. So, going back to your point about the double pivot, I think it will work. I don't mind. I'm playing against Copenhagen on Tuesday night. You don't need it. We should be able to breeze past them, let's face it. But I think against Chelsea, and Chelsea are a decent team, got good attacking players, I think you can play that double pivot. But the problem is you need one of your players to carry that ball forward. Berval has started to do it, and he actually has played in that position a couple of times and done it. But obviously he went off injured. I don't think Xavi obviously wouldn't do it in that sort of position. But I know it's a bit of a controversy with people that we keep on playing it. But I just go back to the best team I've seen, where you had Wanyama and Dembele playing. You can do the double pivot at home and be successful. And if you remember that 2017 season, we blew teams away at White Hart Lane. We really did. Having said that, you look at the 3. We had Kane up top, obviously, probably the best striker we've ever seen. You had Son, Eriksen, and an inform at his pomp, Dele Alli. And Dele Alli used to do something at the back post. I used to refer to as being, Martin Peters, which the older gentleman will know. He used to do that back post, ghosting at the back post. And ironically, look at when we beat Chelsea. I always seem to go to Chelsea games when I've been to Australia. We beat Chelsea 2-0 in, I think, January, whenever it was. And Dele Alli scored 2 goals doing exactly that. We haven't got that at the moment. There's a long way to go. Hopefully, we will get to that stage. Because don't forget, we didn't have that team, that 2017, in the first season of Maurizio Pochettino. So it does take time. That said, no excuse for yesterday and the lack of responsibility or football ability that our team showed.
Tom, that was the point, though, wasn't it, that Brad's picked up? You can play a double pivot if you've got Son, Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen and Harry Kane in front to be devastating, as well as a couple of really good fullbacks like Rose, like Walker, Trippier. who will come forward and support and deliver crosses. This team's got, in fact, it's embarrassing to describe these players. They've got white shirts. That's about the only thing they've got in common.
Yeah, I mean, double pivot. Double pivot's been the bread and butter of football for the last however many years. Like, that's just the way it's been. Most teams have always played kind of the 4-2-3-1 formation. That's been the most go-to formation. Two defensive midfielders, but one of those being a progressive player. Now, either progressive in terms of they are able to pass the ball through the middle of the pitch and accurately to their attacking players, or progressive in the fact that they can take men on and take players out of the game with being able to progress by dribbling. I think that the one thing that I would just, I don't think there's fundamentally anything wrong with. I think what's happened is Thomas Frank has come in and gone, you guys concede far too many goals. Doesn't matter how many you're scoring. If you're conceding more than you're scoring, you ain't going to win football games. And he's come in and gone, we need to make this team defensively resolute. We need to make sure that we're not conceding more than one goal a game, basically. And I think it's fair to say that he's done that. Like, he has made us way better defensively than what we were last season. But in doing so, I think there's been a disregard to obviously how we attack. Because look, the difference between Tottenham and Brentford is the fact that teams didn't give the ball to Brentford. They weren't like, okay, you're the bigger team, you should be the one who should have the ball. We'll sit back. Like, Brentford, even in the games where they had the most possession, they only had like maybe 55 to 45, whereas Tottenham, a lot of teams are going to be like, here, have 60-70% of the ball, and that's different for Thomas Frank. So I think that's a hurdle that he needs to kind of get over in terms of his coaching. But he's only been here for 13 games. Like, we're talking, Brad like mentions Pochettino's team from 2017. Pochettino started in 2014. That's 3 years of Pochettino building a team. Frank's had 13 games. And actually, if you compare Thomas Frank's first 10 Premier League games to Pochettino's, well, Frank's won an extra game. He's also, Pochettino had a goal difference after 10 games of -1. We've got a goal difference of 9 plus 9. So, Thomas Frank there is a lot right, but the performances have been lackluster. But let's not forget that the first 10, 15, 20, first half of season with Pochettino was pretty abysmal as well. Like, it was defensive, it was boring, it wasn't great, and that's because he was trying to build a solid foundation so he could then go into the attacking thing. I think the disappointing thing from me is that when Brentford last season, looking at Brentford last season, and actually ever since Thomas Frank's been up, even if they were very defensive initially when they came to the Premier League, the one thing they did is that they attacked with speed. Like, they would get that ball forward, like they would do a bit of horseshoe football where it's just literally going around the back, but then the moment it was able to go forward, it was boom, it's forward, and we're just not doing that. And I don't know whether that's because we just don't have the players who can run in behind. Like, Kudus, fantastic player, but he always wants the ball to feet or up in the air so he can bring it down and go from there. Richarlison, doesn't matter where you give him the ball, he'll fall over or lose it. Like, left wing again, Odebear, if he's playing there, he wants the ball into feet. Tell usually wants the ball into feet. The only player I've seen since the start of the season who's kind of made runs in behind is Mawani. But obviously he's still getting his full match fitness. But yeah, so I think there's a bit of a personnel issue in terms of the players. I don't think the players we have necessarily can do that job. But I also think maybe they're being told at this moment to be a bit more safe because they just want to, Frank wants to make sure that the defense knows exactly what they're doing, make sure that they're solid in what they're doing so that if the ball does get turned over, they can deal with it. Whereas I think it's probably a little bit like, let's be safe for this present moment. But problem is, in this day and age of football, how long can you do that for until you're facing the sack? It's a results-based business and you've got to start picking up some performances and wins, which we are, in terms of wins, but performances not so much at this present moment in time.
Adrian, let me bring you in and let me tell you where I see the fundamental problem, and you let me, and people in the chat as well. Tom's 100% right with a pivot with a 4-2-3-1, which is his expression, the go-to formula. It's the way probably the majority of Premier League teams, European teams, will play the game. Under Ange, we played 4-3-3 with no holding player. Under Frank, we're still playing 4-3-3, which surprises me, but fine. But he's now got two holding midfield players who can't progress the ball, aren't particularly great. Neither of them are particularly good passers of the football. Certainly they don't play the through ball, which means whoever is your spare player, and this is where I think Simmons may be getting a rough deal, albeit he needs to do more, is you've got one player. If you're the defensive coach for Chelsea, you're saying, if they play 4-3-3 with two holding players, all you've got to do is block and gang up, if you like, on the so-called creative player, whether it was Bergvall or whether it was Simmons, and you block the supply lines. And it's just too easy.
We couldn't beat their press here. We couldn't beat their press. They were much better in midfield. And you could argue the fact that Caicedo, who didn't start very well at Chelsea, Rodri. Unless you're going to come up against Guimaraes and Tonali or a couple in midfield, you're not going to come up, or Man City, you're not going to come across midfields like that. But they dominate us. I hate to say it, you know what I mean? But they dominate us, and we couldn't beat the press. I disagree with Brad, respectfully, of course, on the saying that Dancer was okay. I thought he was crap. And this is why Romero should have played, right? Because he can progress the ball. And when he gets cornered in a tight situation where Dancer was giving the ball away, and I like Dancer, he's a good squad player. I don't want to get rid of him and nothing like that. But he couldn't do it. And and Vicario was probably our man of the match. And I thought Romero was our best player when he came on after that. The rest were rubbish. Porro had one of his worst games ever. Right? He had one of his worst games. He just couldn't get a ball from A to B at all. And then the thing that gets me is the football IQ and a total lack of nous, right? If you're going to get a free kick in your third or your halfway, then let the goalkeeper come up and take it, because then you've got an extra man in a forward position, right? You may make something and you might not. The other exasperating thing I think Brad was going to allude to is the fact that when we're getting free kicks, what is this crap 3-yard pass sideways ball? It doesn't progress you, right? And then we had a few free kicks, I think, on the right and all that, when they've lined up, and Kudus was there with Porro. I thought, right, we've now got a line of players holding a high line. They're holding a high line against us. So you think they're going to whip the ball in. And we don't whip the ball in. We try and do one of these fancy, poncy things like we do when we ponce about with short corners, and it comes to nothing, or it eventually goes back, or even back to the goalkeeper. This is crap. This is absolute crap. I'm not a coach. I've watched it like you. I've watched football for fucking 10 decades. And I see things. I see how
10 decades, 100 years. Wow.
We don't take the throw-ins quickly enough. You can work throw-in drills. I got laughed at by Chris Cowling once when I said to him, we should do throw-in drills in forward positions, central positions, in their own third. We should do drills. Players should know what's happening when someone's running to pick the ball, right? This isn't some brain surgery. You can fix this. You know, we've seen improvements on our set plays because we've scored goals and stuff like that, right? But we had so many corners. We wasted every one of them, didn't we?
The
competition for the goal. It's one of those games. We were poor. So hang on, this is going wrong. Why aren't you doing something simple? Why aren't you saying, right, okay, we're not progressing. They're dominating us. We're not beating the press. Why aren't you saying, bring the wingers, let the wingers come in and tuck in? So you're virtually making a 5 in midfield. Let your striker Marnie just drop back 5 yards more, right? And let's try and win some of the second balls in midfield. We couldn't win them because their press was too good. And when we got the ball, we gave it away too easily. I actually think, to me, Bentancur and Polina looked a bit frightened of Chelsea's midfield. I thought that's why they sat back. But while I'm ranting, Ian, back to you before I overcook it. Right?
Yeah, let me pick up just a few things in the chat that I think are worth picking up on. Nita our midfield's been a problem for 3 seasons. I think that's absolutely right. There's been a few thank yous to Peter Kagayas for the memberships. Phil King, who certainly a few of us know from Harry's channel. Harry will be back with us next week as well. Evening chat, great debate. Thanks, Philip. See you online again soon, no doubt. We got Brian there, Simon, just a couple. We are Spurs TV. Yeah, that was horrific. I'm not sure it was actually as good as that. There's quite a lot of other comments, but they're coming up on the screen, so I'll leave you with that. But let's talk about the goal. Brad, are you there or you disappeared for a bit? Tom, let's talk about the goal. I've cancelled. I'll bring that back on. 33 minutes. I mean, to think the way they dominated us, and Adrian's 100% right. We never coped with their press at all. But I will come back to that because this is where I'm angry with Frank about not changing it when he needed to. But it was a complete mess at the back. I mean, I counted 4 opportunities to get rid of the ball. With Spence, Simmons, even Simmons got away with it a little bit because his pass to Van de Ven was short. But Van de Ven's tackle was powder puff. I mean, you talked about, I can't remember who you said, Adrian, the worst performance in a Spurs shirt. I mean, I thought Van de Ven was awful yesterday, absolutely awful, like Bambi on ice. And I mean, we had 4 chances to get the ball away. Spence, Simmons and Van der Vaart mess it up between them, and Pedro scores, Tom. I mean, what a horrible, horrible goal.
Yeah, I mean, even before all of that, Bentancur lost the ball trying to run it up the pitch just beforehand, and then Spence. Yeah, I'm really struggling with Jed Spence at the moment, to be honest with you, because I mean, I even said it last season when he had his sort of like renaissance. I was like, he's still not great. Like, he is a fantastic 1v1 defender, but name me something else that he's good at apart from that.
Giving a ball away.
I'll take that silence. As my evidence.
I think he can.
He just
he can move the ball in place.
Yeah, but it was his carrying the ball yesterday that lost it.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah,
away.
Yeah,
and the reason why he's carrying the ball is because he's playing on the left-hand side where he can't use his left foot to be able to pass the ball. Like, he never uses his left foot to pass. Now, him playing as a right-footed left back against a Mohamed Salah, perfect sense, because Salah wants to cut inside, and when Salah cuts inside onto his left foot, that means Jed Spence is cutting in onto his right foot, which is strong. But when you're not playing an attacking right winger, you should be playing Udogie every time. I know Udogie's only just come back from him, but again, this lies in another problem with recruitment, right? Why the hell have we only got 3 fullbacks to cover the right back and left back? Porro's not had a bloody rest all season. Jed Spence has been playing left back most of the time, and Udogie's been half fit for most of the season, fit then not fit, Jed Spence giving the ball away, Van de Ven with a bit of a lax pass to Simmons, which didn't really give him much else to do other than pass it back to him, and then Van de Ven tries to then be clever and take on his man and was a bit half-hearted, whereas he should have just put his foot through it and got rid of it. So yeah, it was all it was so pathetic, that goal, to be honest with you.
That's the irony of the game, isn't it, really, in the fact that although they had many, many chances to score and Vicario pulled some brilliant saves, the fact was the goal that they actually won by, we gave it to them. So we could have got an undeserved 0-0 draw out of that game. But yeah, the goal was...
The game goes different if that doesn't go in as well. Like, there's
exactly.
There's still situations where
one of these coaches, Fabianotti, he's the goal coach we bought him. He's got to get a grip with Vicario. He's improved a lot. We know he's great saves. He's been our man of the match last 3 games, which is a sad indictment. but his distribution is absolute crap, right? Worse than a French guy, Hugo, worse than Hugo's. And the worst thing about him is that like, he divers on the ball. And then when he does give the ball out, he puts one of our defenders under pressure. Now, you're all right with Romero on the touchline because Romero won't kick it into touch. He will try and turn. He's got the skill. He's quality. He's a Rolls Royce. He'll probably get out of trouble. But Danso can't get out of trouble. Danso's not experienced coming up a side like Chelsea and the press they put on him. And like he's not. And Porro as well, who's not the greatest defensively. So now you're playing Chelsea, just be a bit restrained and make your passes count. And this is what they didn't do. None of the players had the nous to sort of change. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Let Vicario come up and take the free kicks. You've got an extra man then in a forward position. When you're approaching like the halfway line, 5 yards in your own half, let him take them like Matey does at Everton.
You answered your own question, Adrian. Yeah. The reason why Vicario is not taking them is because he's shit at taking kicks. Like that is the fundamental of it. Are you really going to want Vicario to come 40 yards out of his goal to give it straight back to the other team so they can do that?
But if
that is his problem.
But if your coaches have worked,
distribution is shite.
Yeah, I know. But if your coaches have worked with your goalkeeper, like you've seen, they've done it on kickoffs, right? Because the set play is bang it down the wing, right? That's how we start. We pass the ball back from the centre spot, and then someone kicks it either down the right wing or the left wing. It's a bit like taking a corner when you're going near post, centre or far post, right? If your players get used to know you get the signal, you know roughly where it's coming. If Vicario puts his hand up and saying, right, so they know one finger it's going left or two fingers it's going to the right, then he hits it in the area. Just hit it in the area.
Might not go there, though.
Well, it may not, Brad, but it's better than what we're doing now.
I'm totally done with this passing out from the back with this team at the moment. I'm totally done with that. I'm getting fed up with it. I mean, there was one stage yesterday where we somehow ended up in their own little corner, and I think we gave the ball away, and they got a throw in or a corner from our own possession. So I'm totally done with that. And the problem we have is that when we do hit the long ball, we've got no one up there to hold on to it. So
right.
Richarlison came on was a waste of time.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem, right? That's why this is why the passing at the back and the horseshoe football is occurring. It's because actually they don't trust playing a ball up there that someone's actually going to make the effort to try and go and get it, or someone's even like the problem is that none of the attackers are actually making the run that forces that player to, like you were saying about Dele Alli and his 2 goals. I remember one where Eric Dyer plays the ball over the top. And Dele controls it and taps it in against Chelsea. The reason why Dyer plays that pass is because Ali is making that run.
Exactly.
We don't have any players making those runs, and that's because we don't have the personnel who are used to doing that. Like you could maybe tell them, I would be telling them, just keep making that run, and the ball will eventually come. Just keep making that run. But it's like they make it once and they go, well, I didn't get it, so I'm not going to do it again. It's just complete laziness. And the passing around the back, it has its place in football. The whole point of it is to draw that press on so that you can then play that quick ball over the top. But we're not playing that quick ball over the top. And then if we do, it either comes straight back or whoever's got it just divers around on the ball a bit too much. So
the thing is, with Vicario and your critique, which is good, right? Because we're entitled to do this. When he's got the ball and he has got a player open, he's still looking for other options, and he doesn't get rid of it quick. I mean, Jennings would throw it out to the halfway line here, and you know what I mean? This is Hugo was quicker with his. He didn't diver as much on the ball as Vicario does. I mean, he's a very good goalkeeper. But they've got to iron this out. If they iron this out, he'll look even better.
I'm trying to remember or a goalkeeper take a drop kick. I mean, no doubt they do, but
Nick Pope did a few against us for Newcastle the other day, but
you don't see it very often. You don't see it from a top 6, either a top 6 side or an aspiring top 6 side. But funnily enough, I was watching the Scottish Cup semi-final, Celtic and Rangers today. And just as an aside and as a positive aside, Mikey Moore came on as a substitute for Rangers and played really well. Started off sort of left of the front three, but then went into central midfield. And some of his passing and movement and what have you were really encouraging in a hothouse atmosphere of a Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden Park with 50,000 roaring Glaswegians in your ear. He did really well.
I hear that the new manager of Rangers is playing him as like literally number 10 rather than on the left where the other one was.
On the left, and then brought him in when he took Raskin off, moved him inside into a roving number 10, and he looked good there. He looked really. I mean, if you're looking for someone to play passes through, Mikey Moore was trying to play those passes. They were down to 10 men after about 35 minutes, Rangers, so it was difficult for them. But he was looking for that pass time and time again. But the goalkeepers, well, it wasn't just the goalkeepers. They play long balls. I mean, all right, Scottish football's not as sophisticated as English football, excuse me. But they were playing long balls. But can I, because I've got wads of little banners as I've always got, but I'm happy the way this discussion is just carrying on piecemeal because there's a lot of things. One of the things that really annoyed me, and I'm going to talk about the subs as well, but to me the subs were deck chairs on the Titanic when it needed a different ship. In other words, to me, we had to have a different formation. And I screamed at half time, and Brad and Adrian, you were there. We were getting done with the press, and we were really short in midfield. We were being crowded out in midfield. So to me, it's absolutely screamed out to bring Romero on alongside Danso and Van der Ven, and push the two full-backs on, and then probably push Kudos on further. I don't mind keeping the pivot two, to protect your back line, but if you got and you alluded to this, I think, Brad, as well, of getting Porro and Spence further forward, or even bring Udogie on and get them into midfield and start crowding and winning the ball in midfield. And that would have given Simmons some help as well as Sarr. And we could really have started to battle with them further up the field. But we did. Frank did nothing. You want to come in, Frank?
I think
what I was going to say was, I said before about even getting the wingers just drop back a bit and be a bit tight up out of midfield. Yeah. Or you do Moana, you do what Harry Kane did. When he didn't get the ball, you don't want him. You get him to drop back at the midfield and leave your wingers out wide. You have options. I know we're being hindsight critics. I know it's a game. We hate losing to Chelsea, so that makes it worse because it's them, right? But we're right to critique Frank. I mean, he's done some good things this season. He's done some poor. I mean, is it a question of, guys? I mean, is he struggling to cope with a game every 3 days? It was a question that was raised before the season started. He's never had to do it with Brentford. Is that the thing? Is he overthinking? I mean, I'm not going to judge. My judgment will come. We usually do an evaluation after 18 games. We will do one here anyway on the show. But after 18 games, I've played you halfway, and then sort of with another one after a transfer window in January. But look, as much as I criticise Frank, I will support every player and every manager rather it's football club, right? So no issue there. I want to see growth and progress, and we're just stagnating. We're just standing still, and we're fortunate to be lying fifth. To be honest, let's be fair about it.
Yeah,
at this stage of the season. So other results have gone well for us, really, basically as well. I think otherwise we'd be mid-table by now. No, I think he's the right manager for us. I think he's the right DNA, and I think he's still trying things here. And some's worked, some hasn't worked. You don't go to Man City and win if you've got no nous, right? You don't come back from Brighton 2-0. You don't go to West Ham where we rarely win. We haven't won there 3-0 since 1962 or something, right? So, and Everton away, there's been some good results. The football, hasn't inspired me. We've seen much better football from football teams, guys, and Spurs teams. Ian, me and you and Brad were older than Tommy alike, but I'm sure he has as well. Anyway, one last part of my rant, right, while I'm going on, right, getting into one thing that really fucking pisses me off is when players have got yards of space in front of them that they can run into, and instead they play a lazy pass. And I'm including defenders in this. Use your space, let the ball do the work. Simple.
Adrian, confidence.
Sorry?
Is that about confidence?
I think the squad are confident. They've won the Europa League. They should be going through this season buzzing. They should be absolutely buzzing. I don't think it's a confidence thing. I think it's a lack of nous.
Yeah,
it's a coaching thing. Go on, Brad. I'm going on.
I was going to say, I think it's a bit of both, actually. When I made my earlier point about forgetting how to play football and not taking responsibility, I think that probably comes down to confidence, that they don't want to make a mistake, especially at home. We know that we've got a bit of a reputation as a home crowd at the moment that we're not that happy, and I think that in a home game they are a bit reluctant to make those sort of risky decisions, if you want to put it that way.
I agree. I agree with you, Brad. Let me just remind you all of something that Frank said when he came to Spurs, right? If you don't take risks, you are at risk.
Yeah.
Where's
exactly.
that? Where's that?
Well, this is what it comes down to. Is that the fact that they're not doing what Thomas Frank is asking them to do, or is it the fact that that's what he's coaching them at the moment? I would say it's probably the players are not doing what he's asking them to do.
But if players are not doing what he's asking them to do, Brad, you hook them and put someone else on that will do as you say. You say, and you make it clear for them in the dressing room and on the training ground. When we agree this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do, or you can't play in this team. And make it absolutely clear. You're the leader, you're the manager. They do as you say, my way or highway. Because I tell you what, more footballers get managers the sack than managers get footballers the sack. And it's not even a close contest.
I'm getting it. I sort of tend to think with Thomas Frank and his substitutions, he tends to think, well, I've got 7 subs, or how many meters I've got, I'm going to use them. He's just thrown them on at the moment. Again, that probably comes down to he's trying to work out what he's got there at this team, and that's what I think we tend to forget that it's. I think Tom made the point earlier. It's only a few games into the season. It's going to take a time, and I think that's what he's doing at the moment. He's trying to learn what he's got there, and before Ian, and I think we've got this new regime now, and I think that's going to be very important when it comes to January and the next summer, in the players we get in, because Thomas Frank will know what he wants. Let's see if our new regime actually goes for these sort of players.
But this is what angers me, is when it's not working, you change it. It was clearly not working in the first half. I mean, one of my banners, it could have been 5 or 6. We were really lucky we didn't go in at half-time 3 down and game over. So you say, what do I have to do to change the momentum of this game? Because the momentum of the game was only going one way. And then he didn't change it, and the momentum kept going the same way. And it could have been anything at the end. How we only lost that game 1-0. There was a Chelsea guy in thanking us for the 3 points. I think I think thank you for not killing our goal difference stone dead. Because seriously, it could have been a drubbing. Tom, I know you're down there. Obviously, you presumably get some messages or whatever you're dealing with. But do you want to pick this up? Because I mean, you were talking about the runs, and then talking about Harry Kane coming deep. There's a goal that keeps going through my head is against Arsenal in the League Cup away from home. When the goal I'm thinking of, Harry comes deep, Dele makes a run. It's an inch perfect ball from Harry Kane. It's a one touch to kill it, and a second touch over the goalkeeper. It's so beautifully simple and brilliantly executed goal. And I don't see us scoring a goal similar to that. We're just so predictable.
No, but it's there's a few things with that. One, Kane and Dele had been playing with each other for 3 or 4 seasons at that point. 2, I don't think we've got any players in our team that are anywhere near to the level of Harry Kane
Oh,
as an individual.
Well,
Who
not
has?
many teams will
who
do it.
has? Yeah.
Like, and actually, Dele at that point as well was one of the best
Mm.
attacking midfielders in world football as well. To the point that Real Madrid were willing to spend 80 million on him at one point. And again, I don't think we've got one of those. And 80 million back then is like 120, 130 million now. So look, we've got a lot of new players in this summer. We've got a new manager. I think it's gonna, and also we don't have a striker. Like, we just don't, like, especially with Solanke like being injured, we don't have a striker. Richarlison, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face or until he's gone back to Everton or wherever it is, he is not a striker. He is a left winger who thinks he's a striker purely because he scored a few goals playing in that position for Brazil. Everyone's like, oh, but he's Brazil's number 9. He must be. Who's he competing with to be Brazil's number 9? Gabriel Jesus? And who? Let's not forget that Brazil's number 9 for freaking ages was a guy called Fred Earlier playing in the Turkish league. No, not even that Fred. Not even that Fred from United. A completely different.
This won't happen, but I'd really like to see Richarlison gone in January and we bring Lancashire back from Oxford, who's been banging goals in, because you could do no worse. Even Scarlett's not getting that. I'd rather play Tell up front than him. You know?
No, I don't want to be seeing, I don't want us to be bringing 19-year-olds back to rely on to try and score goals. I want us to be spending the money that we should be spending on a recognised striker.
Yeah,
but actually, do you know what I want to do from now until January? What I'd actually like to see us try, just to give it the benefit of a trial, is play Richarlison as the left winger and play Moani through the middle. Richarlison, Moani, and Kudus, and just see what happens for a game. Because Richarlison can make those runs in behind.
Going to bring something up in the chat because it's something I am going to get on with. All this outrage over this Chelsea 1-0 loss, loss to a goal from a mistake, like we haven't been terrible at home for years, is bizarre. I'm going to deal with that over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. But I don't think it was just the fact that we got beat by Chelsea. I think it was the manner of the defeat that's really angered me, both from the players, but also from the coaching and managerial point of view. I mean, I saw a statistic today that we have lost only 6 fewer games at home since the stadium opened than Arsenal when their stadium opened. And their stadium opened in like 2000. I don't even know what year it was now, 2009 or whatever it was. And ours opened in 2017. And we've almost lost as many games at home as they have. I mean, this is the point. I mean, let's talk about.
And we've won the same amount of Premier League titles of them as well.
2019. Our stadium opened in 2019.
Yeah.
We haven't actually scored a goal in front of the South Stand since Burnley in the first game of the season.
Don't I know it?
Bloody good goal though, or 2 bloody good
And
goals.
on my Frank rant as well, right? You'd think you'd have learned what happened on the Bournemouth game from that, because this was very similar. The way we didn't have a lot of possession, although this was worse, right? And you're thinking, well, okay, try things, don't work, learn from them. But, you know, I mean, even Wolves again at home.
It does feel at the moment that he's doubling down on his ideas rather than trialing something new. And I think it's almost a case of it's almost like he's in his head, I need to try this for a few games to see if it suddenly clicks. And if it doesn't suddenly click, then hopefully he will try something new after that. Like he's been labelled as the professor because of the way that he goes about things, and he alters things and he changes things and he trials things and stuff like that. But I think again, I keep going back to, like, don't get me wrong, it's highly frustrating, and I was expecting a little bit. To be honest, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting us to be a bit better at going forward than what we have been. But I was expecting the first sort of 20 games this season to be a bit up and down, hit and miss, and actually more about not losing games as opposed to going out and winning them. It was going to be more about, can we not concede goals rather
with
than
better
how can we
performances, Tom,
score
yeah?
them. Yeah, but performances. Look, we all strive for performances because we love the way that we eventually ended up playing for us 2 seasons with Poch. But let's get it straight. With Pochettino, he was here for 5 years, and only 2 of those years were we playing the best football. The first season was horrid. The last season, even the one going to the Champions League final, was fucking dreadful. Like, we weren't playing well. You know, that season we got to let's not forget that season we got to the Champions League final with Pochettino. We only won 1 away game in that whole calendar year of 2019 in the Premier League. So, like, I think that's right. Roughly around it. It wasn't good either way. But, like, so there was only 2 years of Pochettino. You would say that, oh my God, we were playing the best football in the country, and it was fun to watch. You know, there were elements under. There was actually elements times under Jose Mourinho. I thought, fucking hell, we're playing really good football. You know, when we dicked on Southampton and Harry set up Son 4 times in one game or whatever it was. You know, I remember performances like that. When Conte first come in, that first half of the season, when Conte, we played really great football. You know, there was times under Ange where we played great football. So there's been moments there. And don't get me wrong, I'd much rather go to a game knowing how we're going to play it. We're going to put a great performance in, but the result might not be, you know, it could be hit or miss, depending, but most time win, rather than, you know, at times under Conte, where it's like, well, it's going to be really boring, but we probably will win 1-0. So it's a really difficult thing. Do you know what for me personally, and I've put this in a few things, like the football hasn't been great. And I think what makes it all the more worse, and I don't like bringing it to this a lot of the time, but what has really, really soured my Tottenham Hotspur experience is how much money I have to spend to go and watch it. It's ludicrous. You know, on average, it's like £60 to £80 a game.
Easy.
It's absolutely disgusting how much money it is. And because of that, I'm expecting us to play well. Whereas when tickets were like £30-40, you would go there and you'd be like, it's 30 quid. Like, it's still a lot of money, and to some people, it's a lot of money. To me, 30 quid. But like, I can go there, I can have a few drinks, I can have a good time with my family and friends, and I know that I'm not going to be like looking at my bank account. Whereas for me to now go to a game, okay, I've got a season ticket, but for me to go to a game, you know, it's 65 to £70 for a ticket. Plus you got the train fare there. Plus, like, for a beer, it's almost a tenner. Plus to get food, it is over a tenner. Like, just to have that whole experience, you're looking at spending over £100. So of course, if you're not getting that product that you think that you're paying for, you're going to be even more angry than just that your team's lost. You're angry that not only is your team lost, they played shit, and you've wasted £100, which is a lot of money. And I think it's the biggest problem.
On that point, Tom, I want to come in here because this annoyed me Saturday as well, right? Guys are regulars that sit around me, there are, and sometimes they don't come and their tickets go on exchange. So, I mean, Copenhagen is a category C. They charged me 60 quid for it, right? But now I heard from the guys next to me, because they can't sell the tickets, and they're allowed to buy them for £38 each. Do I get a rebate? I bet no.
No,
right?
Of course you won't.
No. So, I mean, and I can believe they reduced the price because they want to fill the stadium. I mean, even Chelsea. I mean, Tom's right with the pricing. It was 61,000 something, whatever, 200 odd, right? The stadium holds 62,850. You might lose some seating for stewarding and things like that around there in other areas, but, you know, it's Chelsea. The stadium should be full, and people are feeling a pinch.
You know what? Going back to what Tom was saying, yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the bit before the game, and sometimes enjoying the bit after the game. It's just the actual game itself that I'm not enjoying at the moment. And I actually, at half time yesterday, I went to get a bagel or whatever, and I just thought to myself, I'm not enjoying going to football now. You know, It's not enjoyable anymore. You know, so it's a big thing. You know, and you do pay a lot of money. You do pay for beers and whatever and food and getting. Well, actually, I don't pay to get there. I've got a over 60s card to get there free. But yeah, it's becoming a yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
I haven't been for a while, and I've got 3 games in a week. You know, including Tuesday night. We've got work the next day, and then Saturday morning kick off.
I can pay a third of the price to go and play a round of golf and be equally as pissed off at the end of that as what I am like football. Do you know what I mean? But I have a bit of fun doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I'm hitting it quite well at the moment, Tom. It's even going in a straight line. So, look, a couple of people in the chat are rightly saying, and we are focused on this season because there's no point in worrying about what happened 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, how good or bad Poch was in 2017, 2018, because it's ancient history. But what I am worried, I'm desperately worried about this home form, Brad. I mean, we beat Burnley. We won, since then we've played the total record, played 5, won 1, drawn 1, lost 3. Which is relegation form. All right, we beat Villarreal in the Champions League and we're woeful and we're lucky to win that. I mean, yesterday we were lucky to get 0. Let's be honest. And we beat Doncaster Rovers. Thank Christ we managed to beat Doncaster Rovers. And look, this is what I put. You look at the games since the beginning of the season. The performances are getting worse, game on game. That's what's really worrying me. We're getting worse and worse and worse. Tom's just gone. Hopefully come back soon. Yeah, Brad, let's bring you in on this.
I think, again, as I said, to lack of responsibility and also lack of confidence, I think. Yeah. Because when they go away from home, you've got the brilliant away supporters there, but at home you've got 60-odd thousand or 50-odd thousand people that want to see something, and I just think at the moment it's just getting to them too much. Again, people say, "Oh, when we play at home, we got the low press that we're trying to beat, like Wolves or whatever." It wasn't the case with Chelsea, was it? So yeah, it might even be just a statistical anomaly. We might have a couple of wins, and then suddenly we have a good home form. I think it's maybe it's I think they know. I think they know what they have to do when they play away from home. They know the setup. They know how they have to play, and we have a good record away from home. I think at home, I think they're a bit confused as to what they're actually supposed to do. And again, this comes down to the fact that with Postecoglou, it's literally one way of playing. So once you get used to that, that's how you play every week. With Thomas Frank, who can play different ways every game, I think maybe it's a situation of they're not really sure what they're doing at the moment. And hopefully, I say a big thing about muscle memory, okay? If you play guitar and you practice again and again and again, and then you do it without thinking, I think the same applies to football tactics as well, in that you'll be coached these tactics, you'll have it on the board and that, but you've got to get to the stage where you do it naturally, where you do it without thinking. You think, that guy's gone that way, I'm going to go here. And you do it without thinking, oh, what did Thomas say I had to do here? So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I mean, Thomas has played the big butts to sort it out. So
yeah. I'm gonna tell you a little story. Everybody, a little story. If you remember, Alan Ball, World Cup winner, ex-Everton, ex-Arsenal player, was coach, I think, at Portsmouth at the time. And he said about football and the drills he was doing. And he said it's simple. It's like traffic lights. If you boom, 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 play this is what happens. And it's like the traffic lights changing. And he said in a game, my players played this 4-5-man passing movement that we'd worked on in training. He said, and one of them came out and said, traffic lights. He said, I could have kissed him. And I think you're 100% right. If you're drilled properly and drilled the right way, then it should become second nature. And that's worried me yesterday about Chelsea. They were properly drilled. They knew exactly what they were going to try and do. They were going to press us high up the field. They were going to stop us playing at all from the back. They were going to isolate Simmons in midfield, or Bergvall as it would have been. Game over. And the man, this is why I'm angry, is that the manager did nothing to change it. Something you go to the game, Adrian, and you see, you can see what's happening, and you can see so much better when you're at the. I can see it on.
We've always had in the past at Spurs, we've always had game changers. Kane and Son were game changers. You go back to Berbatov, you go back to Bale, you go back to Waddle, you go back to Lennon. You know, we can name so many game changers. We're waiting for Kudus to be a game changer. It's been a fantastic addition. We're waiting for Moan, who looks a complete striker to me. He's got the touch and the vision. Simmons has got the touch and the vision. Chips them lob balls through into the middle. He's not frightened of that forward pass. And regards to home form, I mean, it will come because like that's irrelevant to the discussion to me, because home form will actually come because like it's even the teams in the bottom half of the Premier League, they don't stay there on their away form. They all develop home form and take big scalps. Man City get beat when they go away even, you know what I mean? Things like that. So that will come. My concern is growth and improvement. And like footballers taking risks in a final third. That's what we should be doing it. You know, and not
get the ball into the final third. We're not getting the ball into the final third.
We've also got bodies in there. I mean, if you look at the back, when it used to be even under Poch and all that, if your right winger's got the ball, he's running down the middle of the field, you should at least have your Harry Kane there, Sonny coming or attacking midfield or charging in, and the left winger or left wing back coming in. You should have bodies in there. Even in most games I watch, which I don't watch too many, because if they start boring me, I'll go and do something else. But when I've watched Premier League games, there's like, if you've got one striker in the middle, what do you think he's going to do? You know, you should have a runner from midfield, plus your main striker in there, and plus the opposite winger coming in on a far post or something. Give the guy who's crossing the ball a chance. You know, I mean, Decky used to pick people out well on the far side. You know, Porro can do it on his day. Kudus can do it on his day, but you've got to have bodies in there.
I think Tom alluded to this earlier. I think Thomas Frank is concentrating on the defensive part of our game, and we seem to be doing that pretty well at home. So yeah, as you say, it will take time, and maybe as the season goes on, they'll start concentrating more on the attacking side of the game. And also, the other thing to forget is that we didn't have Son until our second season under Poch. We didn't have Kane really until later on in that first season. We didn't have Dele Alli until the second season under Poch. So, you know, to get these players, you know, it does take time, and we've just got to, you know, I mean, when Poch took over, and I'm sorry, go back to that era, but I think that the Thomas Frank era could be similar to Poch. It's a similar sort of thing. We had, Soldado was our main striker, you know? So it takes time. Well,
we didn't play to his strengths.
Sorry?
Yeah.
We didn't play to his strengths, but that's another story. Like, you know.
So Soldado was an atrocious signing for Martin Jol, given when he was playing for Valencia, he scored with long balls coming in from the channels and running between the centre halves, and we played tippy-tappy football around the box. It's like, this is what goes on with these people. Do they not see what we see? I mean, I know they're the experts, we're not. I just couldn't get Soldado. Anyway, look, let's
let me plug the channel, because we've been going for an hour.
Yeah,
for those of you that are watching us on various platforms out there, thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. If you like the content, you can see the red subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We can't, because we're live at the moment. Please hit that subscribe button. It helps. Give the video a thumbs up, because that helps with the algorithm. And we do memberships. We only keep them at $1.99 if you're interested in taking the membership out. And you can do super stickers or super chats if you want to get your question answered by the panel as well. Yeah, we do have a Facebook group which I started in 2019. It's got it's going to get to 15,000. Just wish we could get them all on a platform like this. We've got a Discord group with 3,200 in. We've got a WhatsApp group for any of you that want to come on the channel and be guests. You're most welcome. All we need is your phone number. So you've just got to find, you can contact us in private messages through XCOM, our group there, with your phone number. We can add you to the WhatsApp group and even add you to our Discord group. We've got Discord group as well. So with that, I want to thank everyone in the chat for your questions and for your comments and all those 55 of you watching us on various platforms. And with that, back to you, Ian.
Yeah, just mentioned Tom. I mean, and I think this is really important because Tom's in, I don't know what is he is in his early to mid 30s. I don't know exactly how old he is. Number of you know his dad's
Younger than us, put it that way.
Younger than us, but he's got 2 young children, including a baby that was born this year. He has a job. I presume Sophie, his wife, I presume she works as well. But when you've got 2 young kids, you know, every penny is a hostage to fortune. So if you go into a game and he says it costing you maybe 60 quid plus the train fare plus a beer plus something, it's a fair bit out your family budget.
Yeah, and it's money you could be spending on the baby.
It's money you could be spending on anything. I mean, hopefully it's not a choice, otherwise you wouldn't go. But there is a bottom line here. At least if you come home being entertained, properly entertained, you go, it's worth it. How can anyone say that was worth £100 of their money yesterday? How can anybody say that? Because I just got absolutely raging. You raised this earlier because I don't think we're going to, because it's just going to be a
just on the money thing as well, Ian, with the stadium attendances. I know after the international break we're away at PSG, but then we've got Slavia Prague and all that, and Christmas is coming as well for people.
Yeah,
you know, so they're going to think, am I going to go to football or buy my mum or dad a present? You know what I mean, or whatever. You know, so the club need to think about these things. I think they're improving slightly, right? But yeah, prices for European games should be reduced. Anyway, back to you, Ian. Sorry.
I mean, and this. So someone alluded to this earlier, Brad. I mean. And I'll get to the bit where I lost it, and I'll tell people how I absolutely lost it, which I don't normally do. I normally have little rants, but I absolutely lost it yesterday. But how many times did a corner or a throw-in just get whacked and Sanchez came and took it? And he's by far the best. He's not by any, you know what I'm trying to say, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. By a long way, his handling's not great. They were bloody back passes.
I cannot remember a game where the keeper has came out and comfortably claimed corners or crosses or throw-ins. It was, I mean, okay, with a throw-in or with a cross as the game's going, maybe you've got an excuse. With a corner, you've got time to think about where you're going to put that ball. And surely you're going to put it in a different area. If you see the keeper coming out time and time again and collecting it, you're going to put it in a different area where he can't collect it. But no. Same area.
We've seen the tactic, and when we have scored, when the ball's been deliberately passed to the back post to be headed back for when VDV scores. And we know that's a tactic, but we should have more than one for corners like that as well.
Yeah,
I'm frustrated with all this. Something refs have got to talk about close season. All this like grabbing and stuff of players when a corner's taken. It pisses the fans off.
Yeah.
Do you remember the game before we played away at Leicester? Refs gave penalties for pushing, and then when Poch was still in charge of the team, when we had VDV, none of our players actually even came in with physical contact with Leicester players when they got a corner. They just only marked them. Right. This is one of the things that's spoiling the game, apart from the time that it's taking for teams to take throw-ins as well, you know, which I think is something they're going to look at. But
another point that I want to make actually is getting that cross in early, because Kudos has been a revelation at Tottenham. We all know that. There are times when I think he beats his player too many times. He beats him. He's in a position to cross. No, I'm going to beat him again. Position to cross. No, I'm going to beat him again. And that annoyed me. And then I think the ball went up the other end to the Chelsea player who crossed it straight away, and they almost scored. You know,
we had 6 corners. You're right about Kudus, and I've noticed a lot in the games. Although it's a fantastic player, he does cut back a lot.
yeah,
The amount of times he cuts back to actually try and get into the byline and putting across that way, he's just not doing it. He's not doing it enough, right? So, and it's like I was saying on the left, even when Xavi's been out there and all that, and he's been trying to double up with Spence and that. Look, you've had an opportunity to get the ball in, right? Put it in there. If there's bodies in there, put it in there, you know. But then they want to try. Everyone wants to walk the ball in the net. They want to walk the ball in the net, even if it's from the wings, you know. You know, Kudus might be better off playing to stop him doing that. Better off playing is more. He's played as a 10 before, believe it or not. Go on.
This is when I lost it. Now, some of you may. I mean, I am really sad. I actually sit and watch games on the weekend when I know I'm going to be doing a show on the Sunday night.
I delete mine as soon as I got home. I deleted Match of the Day. I deleted the actual Sky Sports that I'd taped.
I sit with a notepad and paper on my lap, and I make some notes of things that I start to think of, and the show starts to take shape during the game. Sorry if that makes me a saddo, those of you in the chat. I just do it. It makes me feel better. And I've got the outline of a show, which hopefully you see the benefit of when we do it on a Sunday night, because it's sort of thought out. Well, when we had that free kick, and I think it's 93 minutes, I think, was it six minutes? Everybody's lined up on the edge of the penalty area, and we take a little tack ball to someone. Well, I got this thing and I chucked it. I don't know where I chucked it. I just chucked it. It was in the general direction of the stairs and the television. My good lady, I think, thought he's a fucking lunatic.
She knows that, Ian. She knows that.
I thought, I mean, of all the brain things you see footballers do, I can't get over anybody thinking that's what we should do. 3 minutes.
You're so right. I mean, but how many times have we seen it without Vicario, though? When we have had players line up along the penalty area and they try this, what is a short corner routine, but further back up the pitch, right? Instead, as if they're going to get in a better position. If you can't cross the ball into the box from there, you shouldn't be taking the free kick. Get someone in there that can do that, right? That can whip it in that way. Whether it's Porro or Kudus, because they kick crosses in at different angles, right? Whether it's one of those two. But look, I remember Watford under Graham Taylor when they had John Barnes and Laurie Cunningham and players like that. And they finished like second in the league or third in the league or something back then. And they played percentage football that way. Every time they got a free kick, they would launch it into your penalty area. It's a bit similar now to like the throw-ins the long throws have become fashionable again, right? But sooner or later a team makes a mistake, you'll get something from it or a goal from it. I just question the footballers' IQ and their nous. I mean, it's a squad of talented players, but Frank, that's why he gets the money in. He's got to sort this out. You know,
as another totally tangent question, we've seen that the long throw is becoming very, very popular at the moment. Are we going back to the Charlie Hughes long ball football that we used to see with England?
It's interesting. Was it Brentford beat Liverpool? I think they took something like 8 minutes to take their throw-ins. Drying the ball. Apparently, they took 8 minutes to take all of their throw-ins, which the ball's not in play. So, I think we'll get to a point actually with that where the ball will be in play for 30 minutes a half. It will be 45 minutes, but there will be a stopwatch in the clock, and when the ball's out of play, the ball will be stopped, and it will be 60 minutes of football.
And another thing, Ian, right? You didn't see back in the day players going down when there's virtually no contact, as if they've been struck by lightning, and then they're laying down, wasting time to stop the momentum of your play and all. All teams do it, you know, because you're allowed. If it's in the rules, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Fans do not like it. I mean,
Well,
it's all right when we play a game out and we win, we put extra defenders on, we time waste, that's fine. We got the result, yeah, great. When teams do it against us, no, we don't like it.
Regardless, just goes down without anyone near him.
2 minutes to go, a simple ball goes in, the goalkeeper gets it, and he rolls on the floor. I mean, why is the if you want to roll on the floor, fine. But your 8 seconds is started.
Well, I watched the last 20 minutes of the West Ham Newcastle game today, and the West Ham keeper made a save and then claimed he had cramp. So how a goalkeeper can get cramp is beyond me.
Well, were they 3-1 up at that point?
No, it's 2-1. The goal was literally the last kick of the game.
Yeah, right.
They could do something more with the. I don't know. I haven't really given it enough thought, but I know Bergvall had to go off for 30 seconds because he received treatment. You could penalise players for feigning it. There's a lot of players faking it when they go down holding their head when they've not been nowhere near. No one's touched their heads. Yeah. Right? I mean, this is cheating. I mean, or they might minimise it. Oh, it's just a dark arts. It's not really cheating. It's just a dark
arts when you're winning.
Hang on. Mandy said to me yesterday, this was before I chucked the sheet in.
Stop breaking house up, right?
Rolling over. She says, you never see the women do that. The women just do what we used to do when we played as kids, in the 1860s, when I was playing alongside Adrian. You just got up. Unless you'd broken something or something really hurt. You just got up and got on with it.
It wasn't considered macho to roll around on the ground in those days, Ian, was it? That was it. I mean, you got up and carried on with the game. You didn't even waste time. Even if your team were being battered and you come up, you got a throw in, you still took it quickly. You sort of you kept the game going. I mean, it might seem poor tactically to us now to do that back then, but you just did because that was the spirit of the game,
Yeah.
And
listen, I'm going to couple of questions. And then we'll knock it tonight because I know you've got the question is for you and people in the chat. Brad, is Frank the man?
Well, at the moment, yeah. I don't see the point in trying to assess him until he's had a reasonable time at the club.
Okay.
I mean, I always give my manager or a new manager.
Oh, there's a salary coming.
Like a whole season. Like a free pass, effectively. So, and it might take 2 seasons to see whether he is the man. But the problem we've had at Tottenham, as everyone knows, is we sack our manager at the first chance we get. So yeah, Frank is the man because he's the man in the job. He hasn't been there for long enough. He's only had 1 transfer window. Most managers say they need 2 or 3. We've got a new regime at the club. We'll see in January. We'll see next summer whether that makes any difference. And the reason why I'll say is, say for instance, we wanted someone like Sameo to play for us, as a left winger, which would mean that we're not relying on Kudus all the time, which I think is, we have 2 wingers. Just go to Bournemouth and say 80 million. Money talks. But will our new regime do that? Probably not. But that's the sort of thing that we need to see whether it will happen or not. But yeah, look, it's fine to criticise Thomas Frank for his substitutions or his tactics, but let's give him a chance. And that's from a person like me. And sorry, no offence, but you guys as well. That our time in the world is probably less than a lot of the people that watch Tottenham or are in the chat at the moment. So
and on that cheerful note,
we've got to be patient. We've got to be patient. The less time I have on this earth, but the more patient I have to be. So yeah.
Look,
so that's my.
I've given a severe critique tonight, and I'll do the same for the managers and the players at the club. But I'm always going to support the players and managers at the club, even though I want Richarlison gone. While he's a Spurs player, I'll support him.
Yeah.
Same with Basuma. I want him gone. He's injured. Carelessly, I could say, well, good, because I don't want to see you in a shirt. Same thing again. Is Frank the man? Well, look, we can't keep throwing managers under the bus, and I believe he is the man. I believe he's trying to do the best with what he's got. I believe he's trying things. It hasn't worked. if you actually look where we were after 17th last season, we're 5th tonight, and questioning like whether he can handle 2 games or 3 games in 9 days or whatever it is when the going gets even tougher. But you know, we've won 1 Champions League game, we've drawn 2 away Champions League games. Although we haven't seen scintillating football, when we got some good results like Man City away, West Ham away, draw at Brighton, you know, win at West Ham, things like that. We've got some. There are excellent results for points. Not the most sparkling football though. It hasn't been sparkling football, but so no, you've got to give him. I mean, like I'm sure us and other podcasters and Savra and all that lot, they'll all do a review after 18 games, the halfway point we normally do before Christmas, and then another review after January transfer window. And we've got to see how we go. I said from last, I want to see growth and improvement. I've seen tactical changes for the better on corners and set plays and all that. I haven't seen a great deal of improvement, to be honest, yeah. And I haven't seen, and we're no growth. We just seem to have like been on a level plane and we're stagnating. We're just treading water rather than moving forward. And there's a danger we could go backwards.
No, I agree. Ryan, good evening. There's lots of you, and I should say good evening to everybody, but I can't. I see you're the latest club to have dispensed with your manager. You might want to give us an idea in there who you would like to manage. I mean, I've seen a couple of names banded about, and
Postecoglou's available.
Steve Cooper. In terms of, again, thanks for all you Sava people coming in. We were just actually about to wrap up. We maybe keep going a little bit longer, but not too long. I wonder, what time does Sava start? Because I'm wondering, would we be better moving to 9:30 or 10 o'clock? Would that allow people to watch both shows? I mean, I'm sure not everybody.
It's difficult, Ian, isn't it? Because Sean used to do a Sunday show and get Drew on, and then like after that, or do his Sunday show, and then like or a Friday show, and then come over to us. I mean, sometimes Sava, I don't know if Sava will have to tell us. I can't speak for him, but sometimes they don't do their shows on a Sunday, you know, or they do them earlier in the day and they don't do one later at night. So it's hard to pick the perfect time to put a podcast out, especially for us because we're young, aren't we? Like we're only been going not even a year and a half. So like so it's hard. I think 9 o'clock suits Callum. It'll suit Tom, who's got young family, things like that.
Yeah,
we might change the times, but you know we've got to think about it.
I'm just very conscious that we've got an audience that's coming in to us, and it was better we and look, we'll talk about it. I'm going away for a bit, so I'll do next Sunday night, and then I'm away for a bit. I'm unlikely to be doing shows from cruise ships in the Panama Canal and what have you. I've got to be just seeing the name. I just briefly talking about the Wolves thing. Brendan Rodgers, Gary O'Neill is in contentious again. Don't want him back. I tell you, I wouldn't be touching Brendan Rodgers with a 10-foot barge pole. I've got to be honest. The mess he was making.
I don't know what happened to this guy, but he did well a couple of times when he was at Leicester. Pearson, do you remember the manager Pearson there?
Yeah, Nigel Pearson.
Nigel Pearson. I thought you're a decent sort of manager, you know what I mean? And like, I thought, wonder why no one ain't snapped you up, you know? So they could go for. I don't know if McKenna would go from Ipswich to Wolves. I don't know.
Postecoglou's available.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
I know everyone's ignoring that comment, but personally, I hope Ange Postecoglou. I'm so grateful to him for us winning, the Europa League last season. That's brilliant. But so I thought he took the Nottingham Forest job too quickly, considering what had gone on there before.
Yeah.
So I just hope he just takes a bit of time, have a bit of time off.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I suspect there was the Greek connection there, though, Brad. That was absolutely. And thanks, Nita. I mean, I'm entirely sure who Wolves should go for, but I mean they are they're in a perilous position, and of course not helped by West Ham. Let
me throw a question at the chat. A question for you guys: because we never know what team Frank's going to select for a game. Mickey van der Ven's on 2 yellow cards. If he picks one up against Copenhagen, he won't be able to play against PSG away when we need our best players just to get a prayer of getting a draw there, you know. So would you pick VDV or stick with Danso and bring Momero in? On question for the chat and you guys as well, Brad and Ian.
I'd rest him. I'd rest him. For the simple reason that I looked at Copenhagen's scores this season, and Copenhagen at home. Well, I know home form's not that good, but Copenhagen at home, I think we should be able to beat them without having to rely on Mickey van der Ven. And as I said before, I know you disagree with Danso yesterday, but overall, I think Danson is a decent defender, and I think he's
he is. But you know, all players come under a remit of being critiqued if it's necessary.
Yeah,
so it's mixed in the chat. Ryan, Peter's saying play him. Peter Gagger's Destiny saying rest him. Jimmy Hotspur saying play VDV all day. You know, I would rest him if you can't beat Copenhagen, right, without VDV.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's for a minute. Let's forget about personnel, Brad. I don't think we can keep going on like this, playing this bloody double pivot. We talked about this earlier. For those of you that have come on, we had a long chat, very long chat about the double pivot and how it's not really working in home games. How are we going to change it? Because I'm absolutely certain to develop the play that we're trying to do, we need to change the formation, and I'm absolutely certain we need to go 3-5-2 or a variation of 3 centre, push the full-backs on and crowd the midfield and win the ball like opponents are doing to us, higher up the field and giving players like Odobert, Richarlison, if he plays left side. I mean, I agree. I think it was Tom that made the point. Richarlison left side, Moani middle, and Kudos right-hand side, I think at least has something about it, if they can get the bloody service. Brad?
I mean, go on, Brad.
I think well, against Copenhagen, we don't really need a double pivot. But as I said earlier in the show, the double pivot works when you've got one of the players that carries the ball forward or passes the ball forward. Like, I mean, Dembele is the best example of that, used to take the ball forward. That's where the double pivot, I think, can work as an attacking thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, against Copenhagen, you'd like to think that we don't need it. So I think you can put that extra attacking player. Maybe you can play 2 up front. Maybe you can play the striker, Moani, maybe, and maybe play Brennan Johnson off him as an inside forward. You know, I mean, he knows where the goal is. He knows how to get in those positions to score. So, you know, I don't think for 1 minute that Brendan Johnson's a winger, but I think as an inside forward, it could work. So maybe do that.
I mean, I did surprise Alan and Steve Friday when I said like, I think Bergwall will play on the left against Chelsea because the way Sunderland dominated them and won at Stamford Bridge. Right? So I did suggest that, and then later when he messaged me, Steve, did you really think that? I said, I doubt it, but I said I could see it happening. And frequently, it started that way. The annoying thing now is looks like he's got the concussion protocol. If he's got concussion, I haven't read anything today about that yet to confirm it, which I think is a minimum of 5 to 14 days. Can be longer if you have the second test.
12, I mean, it's 12, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be longer if you fail the second test as well. But you got to look after the player's health. But the thing about getting the ball forward, this is why I'm mentioning Bergvall. I noticed in the second half against Newcastle when we lost, he was coming back and he was picking the ball up. And then, you know what Bergvall's like? He drives forward. So to use him on the left in a sort of Morgan Rogers sort of inside left winger role, I thought, well, yeah, that could work, you know. And it's a shame we've lost him there because he can get us up the pitch. But, you know, Gray's out for a month as well. So Frank's limited with midfielders at the moment. He's limited. So you've only got Paulina and...
A point I'd like to make about Xavi is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think when Bergwall started first playing for Tottenham, he was bullied off the ball a bit. and he had to improve his physicality
Yeah.
and be more of a physical player. And I think that might be the case with Xavi. He might have to just increase his physicality and build himself up to become the player that we all want him to be.
But say you had, I mean, even if you played the 4-2-3-1, for example, and you played Xavi, Sarr, and Bergvall together. All right, okay, it's not, as we talked about earlier, for those of you joining in, it's not Son, Ali, and Eriksen. Let's not kid ourselves. But there's some creativity there. I just, as I say, I just think Frank carrying on with this persisting is the word I'm looking for, with this 4-3-3 with a double pivot is so obviously not working. He has to change it.
Yeah, and when you look at it, Ian, on paper, if you've got a functioning front three of Xavi, Muani, and Kudus, we should be banging goals in, shouldn't we? But you've got to have the link play with the midfield. Now, we know we're very good defensively. And back in the day, it was always like, oh, you build your spine of your team first. Well, we could pick 7 players at the back, including goalkeepers that can play at the back, right? And then we know we got Paulina and Bentancur in there. But the old teams were built, weren't they? Goalkeeper, centre-half, creative midfielder, and striker. Well, we've yet to see whether Marnie can do the business. I believe he can, because he's just got the vision and the touch to do that, right? As is Simmons, actually. He's got great vision and touch. But he has been pushed off the ball. And like Brad alluded to about Bergvall's added bite and aggression to his game. He's picked up quite a few bookings. Yes. And he gets stuck in. He does get stuck in when he has to. So I get why Frank wanted to play him on the left. But I can see Odegaard coming on the left now. He might save Xavi for Man United, because that's the last game before the international break. So we've got 2 games when he can go strong. Depends what's he going to do. And I don't believe it's a case of cliche 1 game at a time. If Frank's the professor, he'll be thinking more than 1 game ahead. Because you have to. I just think you have to. If you're involved in other competitions, you have to. Because the pressure's on. So,
Adrian, I presume we're going to do a show on Wednesday night. You're not going to be doing it Tuesday.
No, I look, guys, just for those of you who support us, loyal supporters, I mean, I try to do a show straight after the game, and to be honest, I like to prep for a game. I don't mind doing a show a day after other podcasts. I don't like doing them off the cuff. It's not me. I mean, it's not my forte. I dare say if I practice it, I could. But so it'll be Wednesday. We'll have a day to reflect, on it. I'll have a day to get all the facts together and get everything up and posted. So that's what I'll do for Wednesday. I'm going Tuesday. Are you 2 going?
Yeah, well, yeah. I've got the ticket on my phone, put it that way. So, I probably will.
I'm coming down on Thursday, and I will do the Man United game.
Okay.
Just don't. All right, let's. I've just decided, because I wrote when I was.
Get me Harlan, yes, please.
That's doable.
But we're looking at Samuel Igoga at Porto, and when we're looking at Vlahovic again, if Daniel was on here, he'd say, Adrian, not going on about Vlahovic again, right? Dan was on here, but
I was just putting the banners together for the show after the Celtic Rangers game, watching Man City and Bournemouth, and that man. I mean, I'm sorry my language, but he is so fucking good. It's scary.
Have you seen the video that
and
Ellie
only going to get better
running up the hill? Have you seen the video that Ellie put on one of the WhatsApp groups of him running up the hill?
No,
he just runs up this hill, and he's got this amazing physique. It's like I made the point, I'm never going to look at myself in the mirror ever again, because it's like.
And he was accused, wasn't he, Harlan? Oh yeah, but he doesn't do much to help the team and all that. But even his league play now, actually, he's developing. I mean, he's frightening what he could turn into. He's only young, isn't he? I mean, he's not that old.
Yeah, well, exactly. Apart from the 40 goals a season, what does he actually do for Man City?
Yeah,
I love it.
apart from Yeah, it's getting to a point, isn't it? Reg, what have the Romans done
They
for
were
us?
done for us, yeah.
Apart from scoring 150 goals in 3 years or whatever, what has Haaland
And
ever
just-
done for us?
In the international break, I mean, apart from doing a review of this, where we are at that point, we'll then start discussing what I hate, which is the dreaded transfer window, because November, January in it. So November's not that far from January. And the rumour mill's already in full swing with all the bullshit linking us with defenders. And we don't need any defenders, even at fullback. I mean, Kotaya can play at right back if necessary. We've got Davies as well. And we all know we need a winger and perhaps a couple of strikers. You know? And if we could get in a world-class ball-carrying midfielder, that would be it. It was interesting.
Well, I've got a little ruse actually, because I think most of us, including the people in the chat, probably want to see Richarlison sold in January.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the World Cup next season, and Richarlison will want first team football to try and make sure he gets into that Brazilian team. So my answer to that is just don't play him at all. The free window comes, he wants to get out and get first team football.
Well, I'm buying players to replace you. You won't be in the European squad post Christmas. Let's assume we can get through at least into the last 16 or whatever it will be then. And you'll be sitting in the stand. If there's an injury crisis, that you might get on the bench. But if you want football, you've got to be playing it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Right, let's talk about this, because there was certainly some controversy about it, and it certainly didn't look good the way the players, even when players lose a game, they'll normally, just put a hand up or a fist pump or whatever just to acknowledge the manager. I mean, they ignored him completely, and I didn't think that was a good look. Brad, it worried me there was something, as they say in Yorkshire, there's trouble at mill. There's
I normally at the end of every game, no matter how we played or what the score is, I will stand there and I will applaud the players, even if it's only the one or two players I think to actually go. I will stand there, I will applaud the players. I was so pissed off yesterday. As soon as that final whistle went, I got up and I left. And that's the first time I've done that for 2 or 3 seasons now. So that's because I was pissed off. I imagine that Spence and VDV were pissed off as well. I'm not saying it's an excuse for it. I'm saying that they were pissed off about it. I don't think it suggests that there's dressing room problems or whatever, or Frank's lost the dressing room. I just think it was one of those moments. But I do agree, it's not a good look. It didn't look good, but I think at the end of the day, that's all it was. It's not a good look. And we move on.
Yeah, VDV was at fault with a goal, so he probably didn't want to go over to the crowd.
Exactly, yeah.
Fence again. No, I just think they had the hump with themselves. I mean, they can't have the hump with the manager. They played the game. They were the ones that lost the game, and they were awful, right? So it's down to them. No, and then the media are going to pick up on that. They're nothing better than to stir the pot, right? Especially with Spurs anyway.
Social media. Yeah.
I mean,
if you actually watch the whole clip, Spence actually throws something down as he's walking into the tunnel. So they were obviously frustrated and annoyed, as we all were.
And just a shout out for the fans. I thought our fans were fantastic. Before the game, coming up the high road, I had to get off the bus because it was causing traffic. They were all singing in fan zone, and we're inside the stadium and the goal line bar. It was so noisy. I was glad to get in a lift and get up to the 5th floor. It was that noisy.
Apparently, the club agreed not to play any music about 5 or so minutes before the game. So that's why you had that great atmosphere. And let's face it, we
and even
can't live without you, or can't smile without you. It's great.
You don't play that then.
It's certainly not to be played before a game.
Yeah,
but, I thought the crowd were really, really excellent yesterday.
They were good. And even Brad, especially when it's like you're 1 goal down, we're playing crap, right? But when they went 6 minutes to go, the crowd in the South Stand got up again, because you've always got a chance from a set piece. It was only at the end that they booed. I won't ever boo the team.
And look,
and it was the worst performance I've seen in like
I
since
don't.
the stadium's open.
I never boo, but I can totally understand why supporters booed yesterday. But to about the last sort of few minutes, yeah, I thought the crowd were really up for it yesterday, as they should be against Chelsea. I think the problem is when you play I wouldn't call them lower teams, but the teams that aren't as big rivals, that's where you need the support behind them, because that's what the name is, isn't it? Support.
All right, last thing. I've made an executive decision while I've been sitting here. We will start next Sunday at 9:30
Okay.
PM GMT, and that will give some of you Sava people a chance to catch the end of Sava's show and then come over. Hopefully that we haven't gone through too much. Well, maybe it'll be a more positive show because we've beaten Manchester United. So we'll start at 9:30. Suit me. I'll be.
That would be the 6th win against us on the spot if we beat them.
My mum will gone to bed by then, so that's fine. I can do the show from there. Right, so that's that. To finish,
You've got a super sticker for Daniel.
A super sticker. Oh right. Oh brilliant. Let me
Just get him up. Big up, Daniel. Thanks for that. All helps the channel.
Oh, thanks. Show it on stage. Thank you, Daniel. Brilliant, superstar. Thank you. Team for Wednesday night then. Let's talk about the team for Tuesday night even.
Yeah. I think Vicario in goal. I think you won't want to destroy Danso's confidence. I think he'll stay. I think Romero will play because centre backs can play a lot of games. They don't do the amount of running that your wing backs do or the other players do. Them and the goalkeeper, they do the least amount of running. So I think Romero will be, and I think Udogie will come back, test his fitness for Man United. So I think he'll be in the side. I think it's going to be superhuman Porro. He must have played 1,000 games on the turn now, I think. Right. So he'll play midfield again. Yeah, midfield again. Well, Gray's not fit. Burwell's not fit. You've got Paulinho, Bentancur. Don't know who else. I mean,
he's got to play Xavi to get his confidence up.
I think Sarr will have to play. It's a 10, and I think as Burwell's not think. I think it'll be Xavi, Muani, and Kudos, and I think that'll be a similar. The only change will then is probably VDV will come back from Man United because they got to be able to play these 2 games before the international break. You know,
I think you'll have Romero and possibly have Odeberg playing as well. Odeberg
could start instead of Muani. He could. He is our only left winger, really, and Tell as well. You know, I want to see someone.
Tell's not in the squad, is he? Not in the squad.
Tell's not in the
of course, he's not in the squad. I'm forgetting.
You might see Brendan Johnson starting, possibly.
Yeah.
Who knows? As I say, with the talk about rotation, everyone's got their views on it. Everyone's got their different teams and how they want to rotate. And Tom Frank is one of them. So
Solanke's not fit yet, I don't think.
Not until after the international break, Jimmy. That's what we're saying, but we don't want to rush him back anyway.
There's talk of playing Radu, whatever his name is, the Romanian guy. There's talk of playing him in a range friendly, isn't there, to get a bit. Maybe you might see Solanke in that as well. So
Takai should be back after the international break.
Is he in the European squad? I can't remember.
I don't know. He maybe isn't, but I mean, I'm talking about after because he can play at right back as well.
Okay.
He is quick. He's good for the Premier League. I ain't seen him in the game yet, so I don't know. Right?
I thought he was decided, but right. I'm disagreeing with you, Adrian. I'm going to play. I'm going back. It's Vicario, obviously. Porro, yeah. But I'm playing Van der Ven. I think he's going to play strong side. Van der Ven, Romero, and Udogie comes back. I think I'm only playing one of the pivots. And if I see Bentancur and Paulinho again, I swear to God, someone's getting murdered. So I'm playing.
You shouldn't say that here because that's now on record. That's on tape now. So.
Yeah, I'll strangle the cat, and we haven't got a cat. So, so I'm playing Polini. I'm benching Bentancur. I'm then gonna play.
You only got
Sarr, and I'm gonna play one of Simmons or Bergvall, and I'm assuming Bergvall's out. Although, of course, if he wasn't concussed and it was a precaution, he's okay. But I suspect he's going to be out, so I'm playing Simmons, Sarr. I'm giving us a bit more. And then I'm playing Moani up top. I'm playing Odobert left, and I'm playing Kudos right.
Yeah, okay.
I will make a prediction that none of us will agree with the team that Frank puts out. No, I'm saying the team that Thomas Franks puts out will be totally different to any team that we've just mentioned.
Well, I think he'll start with Kingsky in goal. That could be a start.
Well, it's a possibility, isn't it? It's a possibility. Although after his performance against Newcastle,
I think there's more chance of me playing in goal than Kinsky. If I'm all right, I am gonna leave it there. We are trying. It will be really good to try and get the what you call it, I'll get that banner off, that comment off.
Just want to thank Sava for the raid and the 130 of you that are viewing us now. If you like the content, please give the video a thumbs up. And there's a little red subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We can't see it because we're live. If you can hit the subscribe button, that's great. Once again, thanks to everyone in the chat for your questions and for your comments. Thanks to 130 of you that are watching us on various platforms. And a big up to all those that bother to watch us on playback. And back to you, Ian.
Yeah, is that a blue flashing? Yeah. Indiana wants me. All those songs are delight. I could sing all those songs about. Anyway, yeah. Look, Adrian's done the hard work. Yeah, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. We'll go at 9:30 next week, and hopefully, those of you that are doing a double show, doing a double stint, can join us after Sava's show, which would be absolutely wonderful. I'd like to say my thank you to Brad for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Peter said he's off to the gym.
Admin
Tom, who was with us earlier, who's had to go and with his baby duties. So glad those days are long behind us. Brian, great show. Thank you, Brian. Really does appreciate that. Really do appreciate the comments. Makes it all worthwhile. Adrian, my partner in crime. Thanks, Adrian. And
Ian will play you out with a lovely bit of Blue Spurs Diehards music.
We will see you next week. And I need to get back to my original. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I want that piece back, Adrian.
Okay, I'll do it next time. If I'd known tonight, I'd have put it up. We've got about 20 bits of music we can play you. So
yeah. Thanks, Nita. Good luck. Hopefully we get a result on Tuesday and next Saturday. And see you all next week. Stay safe, everybody.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul, lily white and navy blue.